Welcome back to the channel, gamers. Today I'm going to be unboxing and giving you my first-hand impressions of Gulikit's TT Max Pro controller. Shout out to Gulikit for sending this over for review, and I gotta say I'm super excited to check out this controller because it kind of has the form factor and some of the bells and whistles that the Xbox Elite controller had, which is like one of the best controllers we've ever seen, but it has the symmetrical analog layout that like a PS5 DualSense controller could have. So it's kind of like combining the best of the two. And I haven't even mentioned the best part yet. This controller comes in at around $80. It's listed as $82 right now on Amazon, but it looks like it routinely has a coupon that puts it about $70. So again, you're gonna get a lot of pro style bells and whistles that we'll go over for under $100. And the TT Max controller is compatible with the Switch and Switch 2, Windows PC, and mobile because it's a Bluetooth controller. Personally, I'm really looking forward to using it on my Switch 2. And if you're new to the channel, I check out a ton of Switch 2 controllers, so I'm gonna kind of keep it in the lens of it being a Switch 2 controller for this video. With that being said, let's dive right into the unboxing. All right, let's quickly check out the box itself. TT Max controller from Gulikit. Here's a picture of the TT Max controller itself. Checking out this side, it looks like we just got Gulikit's tagline here, enjoy gaming easier. Flopping on over the back, this thing is literally riddled with all the bells and whistles of this controller. And remember, this thing is under $100, and these are pretty awesome things. They're not like really gimmicky. It's going to talk about the fast response time with 1000 hertz polling rate on wired, 730 hertz polling on wireless. It does actually support Switch and Switch 2 wake up, which a lot of third-party accessories don't have that. You're going to be able to swap between two D-pads. Well, the choices are going to be an 8-directional D-pad and a 4-directional D-pad. Of course, we're going to get motion controls. I've read online, actually, this is their patented vibration motor you can see here. Apparently, it feels a lot like HD Rumble, and it's really solid from what I've been reading, so I hope that lives up to the hype. So not only are you getting TMR sticks, so you're definitely never going to get stick drift, but you can also do some tension adjusting on there. So if you're playing an FPS game, you're really going to love this. This is another great feature I really like, is you can swap between an analog trigger or a micro switch trigger. And if you don't know what I mean by micro switch, it's going to be clicky sounding and almost feel like a mouse click. And this is the feature that really makes it feel like the Elite controller to me, is you do get 4 detachable rear back paddles. Just wait till you see them. They look like the Elite controller. And along with TMR sticks, we're actually also going to get 3 adjustable different stick caps, and I believe they're different heights as well too. And that covers the box. Now for the moment of truth, let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Now this is only the second Gulikit product I bought, but every one I bought so far comes with this like awesome customized case for each controller. And this is like form factored to the controller. It makes it super easy to travel with. It's not going to take up a bunch of space in your bag. So they get an A+ on their packaging. But before we get into the controller, let's check out what all we get in here. This looks like our kit of customization here. There's our little metal back paddles I was literally just telling you about. This is going to be the tool, it looks like, to remove the face buttons and switch them around. And why you'd want to do that is, again, Nintendo had to be unique and be a little bit different than everybody else and swap the A and B around. And then this little guitar pick looking thing here is going to be how we adjust the tension levels on our analog sticks. You just plop it right in and turn it, you know, either way to tighten or loosen the stick. And here are our stick caps here. Again, they have different heights. You can kind of see here. Some are taller than others. Some are shorter than others, but they all do have that same kind of concave design. So hopefully you do like that concave design on the analog sticks. Again, you could always get caps for those, but here's one of the tall ones here. So yeah, you're going to get a set of short sticks and a set of tall sticks. A USB-C cable. It is like a flat kind of ribbon cable, which is nice, but yeah, USB-C down here. Aha! And we got some promotion for their Elves Pro 2 controller, which is the other one I checked out. I have a short on that on the channel if you want to check it out. One, this controller looks awesome, but it's a great travel controller. You, of course, get an awesome sticker to throw on your water bottle or laptop. The instructions, which, let's be real, I'm not going to read these, but with a Pro controller, you might want to hang on to this. And last but certainly not least, we have our USB dongle to make this bad boy wireless. So nothing special here. You'll just plug this right into your Switch dock and boom, you got a wireless controller, or your PC, either way. Alrighty, now for the real moment of truth. We're gonna go ahead and open this controller up here, and wham, right in your face, here's the Gulikit TT Max controller. And wow, did that D-pad live up to the hype. Ooh, and we even have our second D-pad hiding underneath here. So this is gonna be your 8-directional one. This is gonna be your 4-directional one. Wow, this thing feels very comfy, and I expected it to with the shape that it has, but yeah, it definitely feels comfy. These analog sticks feel pretty smooth. I do see some RGB lights right here. And then up top, you can see your sync button. You got a battery icon, which is nice, but you can also see, you know, like iOS, Android, Windows, and Switch, USB-C connection. Overall, this thing is awesome. The feel of it is really, really nice. This even feels like 8-directional, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you. And like I said, it comes with the Switch layout, so you have the A button here and B here. But as you'll find out, we'll be able to swap them. I'm going to, just for giggles, turn this bad boy on. Ooh. 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 Do you see that startup? It went 1 ring, 2 ring, the middle light. That was nice. What I like about this is it has, you know, the RGB lighting on it's really nice, but it's not over the top. Sometimes over the top RGB can be kind of, you know, too much. So this really has a nice, slick design. This is the black colorway. I do believe there's just a straight up white one as well. Let me go ahead and game on this for a while, and I'm going to come back and give you my impressions. Several hours later. I'm back after using the TT Max controller for about 24 hours now, and I've come to the conclusion that, yeah, this thing's pretty good. Is it a perfect controller? No. But does it feel like the Switch 2 version of an Elite controller? Yeah, it pretty much does, and it's under $100. Now, over the last day I've been using the TT Max, I played several different genres like a platformer ukulele replay, Hades 2 where you're getting a lot of fast-paced combat, and a turn-paced JRPG Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, and I felt like the controller did a great job at tackling all of my needs for all of those different genres. The TT Max felt responsive and quick. There was no delay or input lag out of the box, and of course we didn't have to worry about drift out of the box with these TMR joysticks. Now that I mentioned joysticks, I kind of want to go over each one of the main features when it comes to customizing the controller and tell you what I thought about it. The TMR analog sticks felt amazing. The stick caps felt amazing again. Being able to customize the tension on the analog stick, while that is offered on other controllers, I've never really messed around with it, and I did on the TT Max, and I think it's a pretty awesome feature. Again, especially if you're an FPS lover, you're gonna love that because you can really dial it into your liking and what makes you feel comfortable with getting a precise aim. Now, the one criticism or feedback I'd have for the analog sticks is when you're swapping between the different stick caps that again are just different heights, it feels like you have to like yank the analog stick off the controller. I was scared I was gonna break the analog stick just trying to pull it off the controller, and just to be clear, I didn't. But you really have to muscle the analog sticks off and on, and I feel like you just shouldn't be scared to break the analog sticks, especially if, you know, customizing the controller is one of the selling points of it. But the sticks and the stick caps themselves are pretty phenomenal. Now, when it came to this D-pad, which was like one of the selling points of this controller for me, don't even ask me why, I just think it looks sweet. That wasn't hard to pop on and off, and I felt like the customizable options were great. The 4-directional D-pad was phenomenal, and again, that's what mostly I sticked with because I like the way it looked. But if you're into fighting games, I could definitely see the 8-directional D-pad being an awesome fit for you, and it gets bonus points for not feeling like I had to break it to swap it out. The next thing I want to cover is the 4 mappable back buttons, and I already know what you're gonna say in the comments. A lot of the Switch 2 controllers have mappable back buttons, and you'd be right, but most of them don't have 4 back buttons, and these 4 back buttons are the nice metal paddles that I have yet to see on any Switch 2 controller. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this is a pretty unique design. No issues out of the box with the back paddles. They are super easy to map. They were responsive and quick as well, no issues there. But again, I have one criticism or feedback. They were hard to pop on. They were super easy to pop off, but for whatever reason, popping those paddles on, I felt like I had to put a little muscle into it, and that could just be a personal thing. Maybe that's just me, but I was scared I was gonna bust the controller at some points. It wasn't as bad as the analog sticks, but yeah, I had to put a little more muscle than I would like to pop on the back buttons. Now let's talk about the triggers. Again, you could swap between analog and micro switch, and I really like this design. Again, a lot of controllers these days you can customize the triggers on, but what I liked about this is it went from micro switch, so you're getting that mouse clicky feel, to analog, where a lot of other controllers you just kind of have 3 different depths, right? So if you want a quick response, you might, you know, just get a tiny little travel zone there, and if you want a normal response, it goes deep into the controller, but it's not switching between like Hall, analog, and micro switch like this controller is. So it's somewhat unique, and I think it works well, and the shape and feel of these triggers are awesome and super comfortable. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to customizing the controller was actually the best in my experience, and that was swapping out the face buttons. In the little kit with all the customizable goodies, you get a little prong, and that makes it honestly like super easy to switch around the face buttons. You seriously just pull the buttons out, there's a little plus or cross icon there, and you just fit the button right back into it to pop it right back on. Like, the buttons aren't falling out of the controller by themselves, right? But with the prong, they pop in and out super easy. So I felt like that was like the smoothest experience when it came to customizing the controller. And again, Nintendo had to go be different and unique and swap the A and B button around. So being able to switch your face buttons around on the fly in a pretty quick manner, I think is a huge W. Oh yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this yet, the face buttons are membrane, so they're not like the clicky micro switch. And I feel like a lot of controllers are going with micro switch face buttons, which I like, but I don't want every controller to have micro switch face buttons. When it came to syncing the controller, it is a Bluetooth controller, but I just plug the dongle right into my Switch. And if you do that, it connects like right away, like literally 0 effort. So the compatibility with the Switch is pretty phenomenal there. And again, you can't wake up your Switch 1 and 2 with this controller. Overall, I would definitely recommend this controller, especially if you can get that reoccurring coupon I've been talking about. I'll try to pin that in my description or comment below. But for under $100, this controller has a lot of customizable options, a lot of bells and whistles. And if you like the feel of an Xbox style controller, but you like the analog stick placement of a PlayStation controller, I think this is going to be like hands down an amazing must-buy controller for you. So yeah, this one's definitely getting a recommend for me. Again, shout out to Gulikit for sending it over for review, and I hope to catch you all on the next video.